To get started on our beautiful Christmas wreath today, we're going to prep our ribbon. I have a 2.5-inch black and red check. Then I also have this really pretty kind of berry with a white background. It is trimmed in brown. I thought that was really pretty. That's also 2.5 inches. And then I also chose this one. I love the Christmas tree with the black and red check that goes with this one. I love a little bit of the white trim, and I like that it's a little bit more of a designer print. And then I also have a couple pieces of this one, and I only had a few pieces of this ribbon, so I kind of split between these two because they both have the reindeer, and this one is trimmed in the similar pattern as this one. So 9 pieces, 9 pieces, 9 pieces, and then I have 4 and 5, all cut at 12 inches and dovetail their ends. This is going to be such a gorgeous wreath with all that beautiful ribbon. All my ribbon is cut at 12 inches and dovetailed at both ends. You're also going to need a 14-inch wire wreath form. I picked this up from Dollar Tree. And some full-length pipe cleaners. We're also going to be using some 10-inch mesh. This is a beautiful dark emerald. This one does not have any metallic strips in it. I did pick this up from craftoutlet.com. This is their Deco Poly Mesh, 10 inches at 10 yards. You want to take your mesh and cut it into strips at 20 inches. You should be able to get 18 pieces off of one roll. My mesh is all cut. Now I'm prepping my wreath form here. I'm putting my pipe cleaners on before I attach them, and I'm attaching them to the 2 bars in the center. You want to place 1 pipe cleaner right on the crossbar. And then you want to place 2 more in between. So you have 1 on the crossbar, 2 in between, 1 on the crossbar, 2 in between. So the next one will go right on the crossbar, and then 2 in between. Continue that until you get all the way around your wreath form. When you're done, you should have a total of 18 pipe cleaners attached to your wreath form. My wreath form is all prepped. We're ready to get our bundles made. I'm going to be using my Bow Dabra. I really like this bow maker for when I make my bundles. We're going to be doing the woodland ruffle method. Now the woodland ruffle method is very easy to do. You just start at one end. You want to do a nice large curl. I usually roll it on good mesh once or twice. Clip it. Turn it around. And then you're going to do the same thing on the other end. Then the distance in between, you're going to pinch and scrunch just like you would with a ruffle. When you're done, you have 2 curls and a ruffle in the middle. This method is also called the cruffle method. Now we're going to add our ribbon. Now these 2 I've chosen to be my base, so I will alternate between these 2. And then I'm also going to alternate between these, so all of the Christmas trees are the same, but this one I have a mixture of the 2 ribbon. So on the first one I'm going to do these 2 ribbon. Okay, and then when you go in to place your bundles, you want to place them wide ways, not up and down. Make sure you get it in there sideways. Pull up your pipe cleaners, get that nice and snug, and give a twist or two. If you place them all up and down, what you'll find is you have a lot of mesh in the center of your wreath and not enough around the outside to make it look nice, thick, and full. For your convenience, in the description box below is a detailed list of all the tools and materials used in today's project. This list will not only tell you how much you're going to need, it will also let you know where I purchased the materials. Just continue to add your bundles and alternate as you move your way around your wreath until all of your pipe cleaners are full. Okay, I have all of my bundles in and all of my ribbon in. Now I have not gone in and fluffed or adjusted anything yet. I want to get my sign on first. This is the sign that I've chosen for our wreath today. I did pick it up from Dollar Tree. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. I thought this was fitting for one of the first Christmas wreaths. I do like the reindeer here. He is a three-dimensional piece. The antlers are not included, but the hat and his face and ears, that's the three-dimensional piece. So if you wanted to remove that and use it on another project, you can. But I like this. I like the background that it's white. I like the traditional red and green accents. It has a little bit of glitter here where it says it's beginning and Christmas are glittered. The rest is not. So here at the top, I removed the jute cord. I have placed 2 pieces of floral wire in there, one through the hole and over the top, and twist it. Leave it long enough so that you can attach it to your wreath form. And now here on the bottom, I'm also going to be adding 2 full-length pipe cleaners. I like to have my wreaths attached in 4 places. That way I know my sign is not going to move. I like to lay down a dollop of hot glue, put in my pipe cleaner, put a little bit more on top, and then fully secure with a small piece of ribbon. And I want to place this kind of right in the middle. And to get that attached, you just take the pipe cleaners and your floral wire. You separate your mesh and ribbon until you can get down to the wire frame, and then you attach it to the wire frame. You just want to make sure that you trim and tuck those pipe cleaners. You don't want anything sharp left on the back of your wreath. I have my sign on. It's nice and sturdy. It's not going to go anywhere. So now I'm just going to go through and adjust my ribbon and my mesh. Pull my ribbon up, kind of pull it to the outside, and fluff it out. I have all my bundles fluffed out and my ribbon adjusted. I think that looks so pretty. I like that mix. Now there's just one more thing I want to add. I made a basic 2-loop bow and wrapped the center with some short tails. And I want to add this right up here in the corner. I think that's going to be the perfect final addition for this wreath. I just take my pipe cleaners there, and just like I added the sign and everything else, you separate your mesh there, feed the pipe cleaners down, and attach it to the wire form in the back. I have my bow on, and I think it looks absolutely adorable. I'm very pleased with the end result. I love the mix of all the different types of ribbon. They go together perfectly. To get started on our project today, you're going to need one of the metal candy cane wreath forms you can get at Dollar Tree. This is the larger version. You're also going to need some deco mesh. This I did pick up from Dollar Tree. I'm going to be using 3 rolls of the red and 3 rolls of the white. You will also need pipe cleaners cut in half. I have 2 rolls of mesh laid out, one on top of each other. You want to cut your mesh into strips at 13 inches. I like to use a rotary cutter. This one I picked up at Dollar Tree. I think these work great for $1.25. They give me a good 6 to 8 months before I need to replace them. My mesh is cut at 13 inches. I'm ready to start making my bundles. I do have my pipe cleaners cut in half. We're going to be doing the folded ruffle. I designed this method several years ago to work specifically with Dollar Tree mesh because it reduces the fraying. So you want to take those 2 cut ends, you fold them over themselves by 1 inch. So you make a tube, you press that down, you start at the bottom and you scrunch up just like you would on a ruffle. Stop in the middle, then go to the top and scrunch down. This is going to make your bundle much more even. And then you want your ends of your pipe cleaners on the top because this is where all of your cut ends are. So I wrap it around the bottom, pinch, and then I like to pull my bundle down. This way I know I can get a good grip, pinch and twist. And then when you open it up, your bundle looks like a little butterfly. Okay, I'll show you again. Now if you open up your bundle and it's not very even, just grab the area and pull it a little bit that's a little too small until it looks right to you. For your convenience, in the description box below is a detailed list of all the tools and materials used in today's project. So I have some bundles made and I've started to add it to my wreath form. Now for each stripe, you're going to need 3 bundles. The first bundle you'll place on the 2 bars here in the center. The second bundle you'll place on one of the outer bars and one of the center bars. And then the other one you'll place on the other side, outer bar and one of the center bars. That's going to give you a nice fluffy line there between your red and your white. So the first one you put in the center, wrap it around those 2 bars. Push your pipe cleaners forward. And you want to fold your little wings together on your butterfly and move that over. Doesn't that look pretty? Now on this first section and this last section, I'm going to do 4 stripes. And then in between all of these, I'm only going to do 3 stripes. The reason why I'm going to do an extra stripe with this is because this last one is not butted up to the next section. So you need that to kind of fold down. So I have enough room there to put 1 more section. That way I know the end, both ends are going to look nice and they're all going to be filled in. When you put your bundles in, and I say fold your butterfly wings up, that means fold them up together like this. That way you're not going to see your pipe cleaner, and it's going to give you that nice full and textured base. I think that looks great. I'm going to continue to fill in my base. I wanted to give you a peek how I was doing. I have my first 3 sections complete, and as you can see, I add 3 of the same color, 1 in the center and then 1 on each side. Then I go to my next color, 1 in the center, 1 on each side, and I'm doing 3 strips, so that's 9 bundles per section, except for this first one and my last one. I'm adding in an extra stripe to make sure that that bottom section is nice and full. I'm really happy with the results. I'm getting my nice bold stripes, and as you can see with my folded ruffle method, you get little to no fraying with this method, even when you're using Dollar Tree mesh. I have my base complete, and I'm very happy with my red and white striped candy cane wreath. Now let's make a bow for this beautiful wreath. I'm going to be using my Deluxe Easy Bow Maker for making my bow. I love this machine. I have arthritis in my hands and it makes it hard for me to hold the ribbon, so this does it for me. I've pulled out 3 ribbon. I have this 2.5 inch velvet red ribbon. This one I got at Michael's. Then I have this really pretty candy cane and candy ribbon. This is 2.5 inches. This one I picked up at Lowe's. And then I also have this 1.5 inch white ribbon with the beautiful red and white candy canes on it. This one came from Costco. So these are the 3 ribbon we're going to use in our bow today. And I'm going to start with this ribbon. And I'm going to start with about 8 inch tails, pinch and twist. So on your tails, the nice side of your ribbon should be facing up, but once you come through and you go to make your bows, the nice side of your ribbon should be facing down. I'm going to start off with making 3 loops on either side at 5 inches. If you're enjoying today's content, make sure to subscribe, and when the notification bell pops up, if you hit that too, YouTube will let you know every time I upload new content. And I do upload new content to my channel every week. And now I'm going to go to this really pretty red velvet ribbon. Again, I'm going to measure my tails at 8 inches and pinch. And with this ribbon, I'm going to do 2 loops on either side at 4 inches. And now I'm going to go to this beautiful 1.5 inch candy cane ribbon. Again, I'm going to measure my tails at 8 inches, pinch and twist. And with this ribbon, I'm going to do 2 loops on either side at about 3 inches. Okay, I'm going to do 1 more loop for my center loop, and I'm going to measure it the same at 3 inches. Then to get back over to the correct side for my tail, I come through the large and small dowel rod in the front. You'll need a full-length pipe cleaner. Pull it nice and snug and lift out. Make sure you have that little piece in the front on the correct side. Cross your pipe cleaners and pull to the back. Give a couple twists, make sure that's nice and snug. Now those pipe cleaners aren't going to be long enough, so we're going to add another one. Just place it in the center, give a twist or two. And then I take a short piece and I wrap it around one of the longer ones. And I do that to both sides. Now I have plenty of pipe cleaner to get this onto my wreath. So you want to pull down all of your tails and open up your loops and spread them out. So you have 3 big loops in the back, then 2 loops, and then 2 more loops with a center loop. Okay, so that is approximately what your bow should look like. I do my final adjusting and the trimming of my tails once I get it onto my wreath. So I want to place my bow here, kind of right across from the top of the candy cane. And I'm just going to take my pipe cleaners, you separate that mesh, feed the pipe cleaners down till you can get to that wire frame in the back, and you attach it to the wire frame. I have my bow on and adjusted. I think it looks so pretty. Now I did stagger the length of my tails. I like to do that. So this one is the longest, medium, and shortest. Now there's a few more things I want to add. I also found these really cute candy cane ornaments. You get 8 pieces in a box from Lowe's. So I'm going to take one of those. I want to hang it right from the center. They do come with a little hole here. So I pulled out some of my floral wire. I'm going to be using the red today. Feed that through the hole. Give it a couple good twists. You want to make sure that that wire is nice and long. Okay, and then I'm going to wire it right here at the base of my bow. Again, you just feed your floral wire in through your mesh and attach it to that wire wreath form in the back. I think the candy cane looks absolutely adorable. Now there's one final element I want to add, and that's some of these large flocked berries that you can get at Dollar Tree. They come wired together in 2s. So I'm just going to take these and glue them kind of in and around the bow. I want to add a little bit more something to the bow. I got all of my berries in, and I think they were the perfect final touch for this beautiful candy cane wreath. Nice, big, and fluffy. Very pretty, and little to no fraying with my folded ruffle method. This ribbon wreath, you're going to need a 14-inch wire wreath form that you can pick up at Dollar Tree. This one happens to be silver, but any color will do, whatever you can find in your store. These are the two ribbon I picked out for our Christmas ribbon wreath today. This one I did pick up from Walmart. It's your basic candy cane wreath. It does have a velvet feel to it. This one is 2 inches at 30 yards. And then this one I did pick up from Costco. This one is 2.5 inches at 50 yards. I really love how they did all the gnomes. They're all done in red, green, and white. And I like that beige background. You will want to cut your ribbon into strips at 6 inches. I'm going to start cutting 36 pieces of each ribbon. This ribbon is going to go on the inside, so I'm going to dovetail both ends. And this one is going to go around the outside, so I'm only going to dovetail one end. I wanted to show you a quick little trick that I use when I have to cut a lot of ribbon. I lay down my ribbon, we're cutting at 6 inches, measure at 6, and then fold over. And then just continue to fold. Each time you do a single fold, that's an additional piece. So that is 3. So I'm going to cut a dozen at a time. Now to do this, you do need a really good pair of scissors. These I did pick up from Amazon. They are tailor and craft scissors, and these work fantastic, and they're not that expensive. You can find the link to these in the description box below in my Amazon associate shop. It's under tools. Okay, so then you just want to find the center where you started, and it's usually where you find back to back of the ribbon. And then just cut them all at once. If your scissors are not really sharp, you're not going to be able to do this. You'll have to do fewer pieces at a time. And on these pieces, I want to dovetail both ends. And I only come down maybe about a 1/2 inch. Cut from the center out. So I just cut 6 pieces of ribbon. On your striped ribbon or whatever ribbon you're going to put on the outside, you only need to dovetail one end. I have all my ribbon cut at 6 inches. Now I'm going to start with my cute little gnome ribbon, and this is the ribbon that I've dovetailed on both ends, and this is going to be my inside ribbon. And first I want to fold it, and I want to fold it to where the back piece is just a little shorter than the front piece. We're going to be attaching that to the 3rd rail. Add some hot glue, pull that together, and then scrunch. You may need to go back in and add a little bit more glue. So you want to scrunch it down to where it's about an inch wide. And just continue to add your ribbon in the same manner all the way around. Now the smaller that you make your scrunch, the more ribbon that you're going to need. I found that going about an inch is good. You get that scrunched look, then you don't use too much ribbon. I have completed my inner ring. Now it took 6 to 7 strips of ribbon per section, so you'll want to cut about 42 pieces. Now we're going to move to the outer ring, and you can just roll up the first. Now you can decide at this point how long you want the other ribbon to be. Decide how much of it you want to show. Okay, I like that. That's about an inch. And then you're going to be attaching it the same way. Just add your glue. The more that you scrunch, the more ribbon you're going to need per section. I have my outer ring complete. I think it looks so pretty. I'm really happy with those two ribbon together. Now we're going to work on the center part here. I'm going to be using some chunky chenille yarn. I picked this up at Walmart. It is by Mainstay. If you can't find the chunky chenille yarn, you can also use the roving yarn. You want to look for anything that's thick and the correct color. This also comes from Walmart. Now to work with this, I cut a piece to make it easier. We turn it over, and I want to start it here on the back, right at a crossbar. We're going to be wrapping the two inner bars here. So that's why you need to cut a smaller piece. And then just feed it around those two bars and wrap it. So you're looking for a nice clean wrap around these two bars near the center. I have my center two bars wrapped. Now there is a little bit of a vacancy all the way around, so we're going to take care of that next. Turn over your wreath to your back. Now look at how pretty that looks, and that's the back of your wreath. This wreath is perfect if you have a glass door or a glass insert on your door, because this wreath is pretty from the front and the back. So now I'm going to take a piece of the chunky yarn, and I'm just going to glue it here on the back to fill in that space. You can find a full supply list in the description box below. Enjoying today's content and want to see more? Make sure you hit that subscribe button. When the notification bell pops up, if you hit that too, you'll be one of the first to know every time I upload new content. I have the center all wrapped. I filled in that space and it looks so nice now. I'm really happy. Now we need to add our focal point. Now I found this adorable little gnome sign. It's actually a garden stake. So I just pried it off of the garden stake. And then here at the top, it also had a jute cord. So I removed the jute cord. I've added a piece of floral wire. And then down here on the bottom, I'm going to add a pipe cleaner. So I just lay down a dollop of hot glue, place my pipe cleaner in there, add a little bit more on top. And then I like to top that off with a piece of ribbon. This just makes sure I get that baby glued down nicely. Then I don't have to worry about it coming off. Now this little guy is ready to go on our wreath. Okay, so we're going to get our little gnome attached. Now you want to take your floral wire and you want to attach it to one of the crossbars. So there's one right here. So just feed those wires on either side of the crossbar to the back. Pull that nice and snug and give a good twist. Then you'll want to trim and tuck down your pipe cleaners. Oh, that looks cute. I like that placement. Now directly across from that crossbar is another crossbar. And I want to attach it to the crossbar here on the bottom. Now I'm going to move the white yarn to the side and go in there because he doesn't come down quite far enough and I don't want to see my pipe cleaner. Make sure to trim your pipe cleaner and your floral wire. Fold it down and push it back forward. You don't want anything sharp on the back of your wreath. I think he looks so cute in the center. I also found these really cute little gem stickers. They're little candy canes. They were $1.25 at Dollar Tree and you get 15 of them. That's what they look like. So here on the white, I want to add the candy canes. They're supposed to be stickers, so they should stick well on their own. We will find out. My little gnome here is holding a candy cane in his hand, so I think this will be really cute to add these. Okay, let's see if they're going to stay. Okay. Looks like they're going to hold on. I like that. I like that very much. It looks so cute, especially with him holding that big candy cane. I have some pieces left over that I had cut. They're all cut at 6 inches. I did dovetail these two pieces on both ends. I'm going to make a cute little bow. So I'm going to start with this one. And I'm just going to pinch it in the center like that. I'm going to do the same thing to this one. And then I'm going to put that right on top. Do it again with this one. Put that right on top. Okay, so I just alternated each piece. A piece of floral wire here. Just wrap it around the center, pull it nice and snug, and give it a couple twists. Then you want to go around and separate each of the ribbons and open them up so it looks like a little flower. I think that's really cute. Trim off any excess wire and push down if make sure you don't have any sharp edges. Thinking about putting it right up here. Then I pulled out a package of the small berries. This is the glitter white ones. These come clustered together in 3s. Just cut the end off there. I'm thinking about putting that right in the center. So let me attach that first. Now to get this cutie on, I'm just going to hot glue it on with some Aleene's Original Tacky Glue. Now Aleene's Original Tacky Glue, once this sets up, it becomes weather resistant. So I won't have to worry if this goes outside that this will fall off. And here you go, we are all done. I'm really happy with that cute little bow, something a little different and unique. For the base of our swag, I'm going to be using one of the new 4-foot unlit trees that you can pick up at Dollar Tree for $5. They come in green or white. You can choose whichever color you want or whatever you can find in your store. When you take it out, this is what it looks like. It is nice and big. Now it's set up the same way the small trees are. You have an end like this, and then you have the little feet that slide in if you're going to use it as a tree. Now we want to remove this. If you just kind of unscrew a little bit and then pull, it comes right off. And you just want to make sure this part of the greenery is secure. If we need to, we can always cut this part shorter, but I'm going to wait and see what happens. Come back down. Now here at the very top, it has a really long single piece. I'm going to cut that down. I don't want it that long. A little bit longer than the others. I'll save that. Now you just want to take one side, pull all of your little branches to one side or the other so that you have a flat side. For a complete supply list, check the description box below. Okay, so as you can see, I moved everything away from the center. That's going to be my flat side, which is going to be the back. Now I just want to go through, I want to make sure that I can fluff this out and give it a little bit of shape. See how full I can get this guy. And I'm just going to add a little bit of bending to each of my little fronds here as I fluff them out, because it's going to be hanging down. I have the tree all fluffed out, and I think it looks very, very nice. Time to start decorating. You're also going to need some nylon cable ties or zip ties. And then I also picked up 4 of these. They're in the plus section. They are bell ornaments. They are nice and large. Now, if you don't have a plus section in your store, you can also go into the regular $1.25 section. They have large ornaments. You can also choose maybe a solid red ornament or anything that you like, and then match it up with one of the bows that they have. But I really liked these. I love the little greenery. I love that it jingles. Okay, so I'm going to be using the hanger here, which is the jute cord. Let me take the tag off. And I'm going to use a zip tie to get that attached. So wrap it around my jute cord there. And then I'm going to feed it in, and I want to attach it to the main pole here with the zip tie. So see, I have it wrapped around the center pole there. So now when I turn it around, that jute cord's going to give me the length that I need to make sure that I can get that positioned the way that I want. But look at how cute that looks. Now if I need to, I can always hot glue this in position, but I'm not going to worry about that yet until I get everything on and I get it hung up so I can see how it's going to hang. But I have 4 bells. I'm going to add all 4 of them. So as I add my bells, I'm just going to move from one side to the other and slowly move my way down. So the next one I'm going to place right about here. And again, I'm going to attach it to the center piece. I have all 4 of my jingle bells attached. Now I'm going to use this tree topper that you can pick up at Dollar Tree in their plus section for $3. I think it's going to look absolutely gorgeous on this, and I love it. It's a nice big bow, and it also comes with really long tails. Now before we get our bow attached, I want to put a hanger on. I'm going to use a full-length pipe cleaner. I want to come down and under the first couple branches there. And that is what you're going to use to hang your swag. Okay, so I want to put the bow up here at the top. Looks like I want to go probably right about where the greenery is, so I do want to cut that part off. I'm going to use my bolt cutters by Cobalt. They come in several different sizes. This guy's really big. Ooh, I'm glad that didn't hit my computer screen. But it cuts it off rather easily. So I have a package of their garland ties, and I'm going to use this to fill in this space here right underneath the bow. There's too wide of a space there that doesn't have any branches, and I don't need them to be this long. I may also lift up and add a couple near the top here. The bottom section is nicely filled in, but this top section needs a little help, so I'm going to give it a few of these. Okay, so I used the one package of the green garlands to fill in, and I only did like this section where I helped beef it up. And now I want to add the rest of my embellishments. I pulled out 4 stems of holly. They're just calling it holly berries. So I have 4 stems of those. I'm going to use the rest of this stem. It has 2 nice pine cones on it and several stems of berries. And then I also have these really large pine cones. I did pick them up a while ago at Dollar Tree, but you can find individual pine cones like this at Hobby Lobby, Michael's, and maybe even Walmart. Now I'm going to be attaching my holly in a full stem bunch, but I did take and shorten the stems. So I cut it at the first nub here. That way they'll stay together and I get a nice bunch. And then I'm going to use zip ties to attach them. So I'm just going to kind of feed the zip tie through some of the branches here at the bottom. And then I'm going to attach them the same way I did these. I'm going to go right in and I'm going to try to attach it to the center bar. If I can't attach it to the center bar, then I will attach it to one of the stems, but I'll do it right at the very base. I'll just get it in its position and zip tie it in. Now I separated the pieces I had left over in that bunch, and these guys actually have very bendable wires. So on these I will wire them in. Once I get them in the position I want, I will wire them in. On these 2 pine cones, the same thing, really easy. Okay, let's see. Okay, now these are a little bit more stiff, so I'm probably going to use a little bit of hot glue along with the wire here. And I'm just going to cut them so that they stick out as far as I need to and enough to wire them on. I definitely don't need it that long. So just cut it down, leave maybe 6 inches. I can always cut it shorter if I need to. I like to work with my placement a little bit first before I start attaching, because a lot of times I think I want it to look one way and then I put them in and I'm like, no, that doesn't look right. I have all of my embellishments in. I put in all of my holly and my pine cones and my extra berries. The only other thing I did was I hung it on the wall, made sure I placed my big jingle bells where I wanted them, and then I glued them in position so they don't change. Now the last thing I want to do is take care of my tails here. And the reason why I'm so happy this has really long tails, we're going to do something a little different. So I want this to kind of bow out, and then I'm going to pinch that. Down, I'll go a little lower. So just kind of play with it and decide where you like your ribbon to lay. It's a little too much. Once you find where you want it, pinch it and add a pipe cleaner. Half a pipe cleaner will be sufficient. And then you want to do the same thing on the other side. So I'm just going to kind of pull this down. I want them to be relatively the same. So I'm just going to measure it out and pinch. Then just use your pipe cleaners to attach it. I'm going to feed it in and attach it to one of the branches near the base. Okay, and then I'm going to do that one more time. Just want to make sure I leave it loose enough that it can come out a little bit, and that I do have some tail at the end. I have all of my embellishments on. I have my tails bubbled and pinned in. The bow is so pretty at the top. I'm very happy with the end result. These big, beautiful red jingle bells were perfect for this big, beautiful Christmas swag.
To get started, you're going to need 2 of the red oven mitts that you can get from Dollar Tree. These are really well made. I have to say, I was very impressed. The stitching is done really nice. They're nice and thick. Really nice. So go ahead and remove any tags. You will need 2 of them. You'll also need 2 of these microfiber dusters that you can get over in the cleaning department. Next, you're going to want to cut your microfiber cloth here in half. Now, there's a really easy way to do that. If you go ahead and go down the center here and separate the little fluffies, you can see that there's an area where there's no fluff. That's where you want to cut it. Now, you will cut through some right here on either end, but you just want to do your best to cut up right in the center there. You'll lose a little bit of fuzz on the ends there that you cut through, but that's okay. Just remove anything that's loose. Now you're going to want to leave this little hook on the side here that they use to hang it. You will be using that, so do not cut it off, and make sure that it's up when you glue on your fuzzies. Okay, so now we're going to start to glue this across the top. And just work your way around. It doesn't quite meet, so you'll need to cut another piece. And just simply hot glue that. Now I'm putting my cut side down. And there you go. Doesn't that look cute? Now I am going to run a little bit of glue right here and then squeeze that together so it comes together. And then I am going to just kind of pull and try to remove anything else that's loose and trim anything that looks like it needs to be trimmed. Okay, so you want to do this to both of your mittens. I got the trim on. I'm really happy with that. I think they look absolutely adorable already. And as you can see, I did leave out the little hook there. Now I have this in my stash. I think it is absolutely gorgeous. It is red, green, and gold cord. You can use any small ribbon or cord that you have. It doesn't have to be this. But what we're going to do is tie it here in the loop. You want to go ahead and take one end in there and tie it on. This is what we're going to use to hang them. So go ahead and give it a double knot, and then I'm going to hit it with just a little bit of hot glue to make sure that it stays together. Then you just need to decide how long you need it and how you want your mittens to hang. So I want mine to hang with one a little lower than the other, like that. I'm going to measure up and then down. And then what I'll do is here at the top, once I have it the way I like it, I'll tie a knot so I can hang it from here. And then that way they'll hang at that length the way I want them permanently. Okay, once you have the length and you've decided that that's what you want, trim it and tie on the other end. Okay, I got my cord on. I'm really happy. Now I did trim the ends and then hot glue them down. Because this is a twisted cord, the ends were unraveling, so that's why I had to glue them down. But it's nice and secure. I'm not going to tie the top until I'm done filling them. So you can go ahead and set these aside. To fill them, I pulled out several different florals. Now for each mitten, I have one stem of this poinsettia, red and white, one stem of the red velvet poinsettia, and then I have two of these frosted greenery with red berries. And then I have this one, which is red. It is Queen Anne's lace. And then this one, which is frosted greenery. And then this one is a flocked fern. Now I don't know if I'm going to be using all of these, but this is what I've pulled out, and I've pulled out this much per mitten. Now to prep your florals, on the greenery here, you're going to want to spread them open just like that. And then on your florals, you want to go ahead and spread them open, push up the leaves, and then you want to take the heads and you want to bend them so that they're facing forward rather than straight up. We're going to start with one of the glittered greenery with the red berries, and then I'm going to take the red poinsettias and I'm going to layer them, and I'm going to put the poinsettias just slightly higher than the greenery, and on the greenery just spread them out. Okay, so you have your greenery, your red poinsettias, and then you're going to add the other greenery with the berries in the back, and you want that a little bit higher. And then add the other poinsettias, and you want those slightly higher. And you get them all together in your hand once you have all the height correct. And then just wrap it with some floral tape. You can pick this up at Dollar Tree over in the floral department. For the most part, this does stick to itself. So just as you're wrapping it, you need to wrap over itself a couple times. That way you can bring one in the front. And then just play with them and adjust your florals. Just keep playing with it until you like it. You want everything kind of facing the front. Once your bundle is the way you want it, go ahead and just slide it down inside your mitten. Just like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and take a few pieces of each of these and feed in and fill in each of my mittens. Now, I'm really happy with how they are now, but I felt it needed one more little thing to finish it off. So I thought this little ornament would be perfect. It says Happy Holidays. And I really love the white background with the red. I think that's going to stand out, and I'm going to put it right here. And there you go. We are all done. I think that is the perfect final touch to finish off Santa's mittens. So we're going to start by getting our witch hat wreath prepared for our Christmas tree. So the first thing you want to do is go ahead and cut the brim off. Now I want my tree to be a little bit thicker than just the bars that are here, so I'm going to add an additional bar in between each section as I go up. And I am going to be using the thicker floral wire that Dollar Tree carries. They carry very thin floral wire on a spool, and then they also carry thicker floral wire in a little spool. So that's what I'm going to use. Because it is thicker, it'll make it a little easier for me to tie on my bundles. Okay, so you're going to need some wire cutters and some pliers to help you bend it. And you want to cut the wire so it's just a little bit longer than your space. And then go ahead and start on one end. You want to place it relatively in the middle. It doesn't have to be perfect. Kind of get that wrapped around. Like that. Okay, just kind of wrapped it around with my hand. I'm going to go over to the other side, try to keep it straight. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. And then wrap around again. Now this floral wire is nice and stiff, but it's still bendable and moldable. So you just want to wrap it around and get that secure. When you get down to the little ends, the pliers come in handy because you can take those little ends and then kind of curl them in. Because they are a little sharp, you don't want to get caught on them. Okay, so I just kind of twisted that little end in. I'm going to trim the excess off here and then do the same on this side. Slid up a little bit, push it down a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do that and put one in between these three. I don't know if I'm going to need one on the tip, but I'm definitely going to put one on the next three. Okay, I got my bars on. I put one in between, in the middle of all of them except for the one on the top. I'm going to wait till I get up here and see if I need it. Okay, you can go ahead and set that aside. You're going to need a package of white pipe cleaners cut in half. And then you're going to need some green deco mesh. Now this deco mesh I picked up from papermart.com. This is 6 inches by 10 yards and it is $4.98. You're going to want to go ahead and cut your mesh at 6-inch pieces. You can use scissors or you can use a rotary cutter. You just want to make sure that you have a nice sharp edge so you can get a clean cut. So you want to cut 6-inch pieces. Okay, so you want to take your 6-inch piece and you grab either corner and pull it. Then you grab the diagonal corner and go ahead and roll it up towards the other diagonal corner, like that. Then you're going to take your pipe cleaner and go to one end and fold it over and pull it tight and then twist. So it's folded over like that. Your longest piece should measure between 7 and 8 inches. Okay? And that's your petal. Let me show you again. You take your 6-inch piece, you grab either corner diagonally, pull to stretch it out, then grab the corner and roll to the opposite corner, like that. Take your pipe cleaner, fold it over, pull tight, and twist. Okay, so that's going to be your petals. Okay, so to attach these to the wreath, I take the where it shows both ends. You have the long piece in the back and the shorter one on top. Just feed that underneath the bottom bar. You start at the bottom and work your way up. Give it a couple twists, the pipe cleaner, to attach it to the bar. Pull it straight. And then take the ends and I just fold them to the back of the wreath. tuck it over, kind of push it down. Okay, and then you just go across each bar and fill in your wreath as you go. So see, it has you have the long piece and the short piece. You want the short piece facing up. Slip one pipe cleaner underneath the bar, the one over the top. Just give it like 2 or 3 twists. Then pull the pipe cleaners together and then push them to the back of the wreath and then slide over. Okay, I got my base all done. I'm really happy with it. So we're going to make a nice big bow to go up on the top. And I picked this up from Dollar Tree. This was in their Thanksgiving collection. It's kind of like an off-white and red. You're also going to need a pipe cleaner. Okay. So the first thing that you want to do is go ahead and make a loop so that it comes and over itself by at least 1 inch. Okay. Then you're going to go ahead and scrunch that together underneath and pinch it like that. Then you're going to take this side and make another loop. Bring it into the center in the back and pinch it. You got to make sure you hold that nice and tight. Pull out another section, make another loop that's the same size as this one. Go ahead and pinch it. Okay. And we're going to pull out another loop. I'm going to pull it down. Then pinch it in the center. And then I'm going to go kitty corner, pull it out, do another loop, bring it back and pinch it in the center. Okay, I'm going to do it one more time on each side. Pick up that loop, bring it back to the center and pinch. Go diagonally out. And pull it back and pinch. Okay, so I have everything pinched in the center that I'm holding. Go ahead and pull out the rest of your ribbon. Take that end, bring it up to the back, and then pinch it in with everything else. Then you're going to take your pipe cleaner, feed it through the center, wrap it around right where you have that nice and pulled tight. Pull really tight, grab it and pinch and twist. Okay. And pull that loop all the way out and cut. So I use the entire roll for the big bow. And you just have to play with it and fluff it back out. Okay? So you have the 1 loop in the middle and then 3 loops on either side. You just got to play with it, fluff it. Okay? This is what's going to go on the very top of our tree. Once I get it on there, I'll play with it a little bit more. And then I'm going to wait to cut the ends until I get it onto to see exactly how long I want it. But that is your nice, big, fluffy bow. Okay, I got my bow on my tree. I'm really happy, and I left the tails as long as they were. I just dovetailed them. I think it looks really cute on the tree. Now to decorate the tree, I have some of this flocked fern. It's just called fern, but it's white and sparkly. Then I also have a package of these small red balls. And then I'm thinking about also adding some of the small pine cones. Let's go ahead and set this aside for a minute. Okay, to prep these, just go ahead and clip them off. And then look at how they're put together, like this one. Cut here. And then another piece here. So that one stem, I have 3 pieces. And then what I'm going to do is just add some hot glue and then stick it inside the tree. You want to go ahead and prep your ferns. I picked up 3 of these. I don't know if I'm going to use all 3, but I'll let you know when I'm done how much I used. I also wanted to let you know I used less than 1 roll to do that whole wreath of the Paper Mart deco mesh. Now this deco mesh comes 6 inches at 10 yards. It's $4.98, and I have about 1/4 of a roll left. Now this is about 4 times the length of the Dollar Tree rolls of deco mesh. So this is only about 25 cents more per roll compared to Dollar Tree. But this mesh is much thicker and easier to work with, and it doesn't fray as much. So when you're using it, you don't have to use as many bundles because it's thicker. So I think this is very comparable to price, but as far as quality, it's much better. So it's nice to know that I can do a whole wreath with just 1 roll of mesh. So for $5 in mesh, I was able to do that wreath, and I still have some left over. Okay, so I have my pieces cut. Just go and add some hot glue along the stem. Decide where you want to place it, lift it up, and go ahead and place it in there. You just want to mix the different sizes and shapes that you have. And then the same thing with the little balls. I don't want this part to show, so I'm going to put the hot glue there. And then just kind of lift up and stick it in. Wherever you would like them. Just want that little bit of color to peek through. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get all of my embellishments glued in. Okay, so I got all my glittery fern in and my red balls. I decided I do want to add pine cones, but that these little pine cones are too small. So I do have some larger pine cones that I picked off of some picks that I picked up from Dollar Tree. So I'm going to use those. Go ahead and set this aside. Now I'm going to add a little bit of snow tipping to my pine cones because I want them to look frosty. So I'm just going to take a little bit of some apple barrel acrylic white paint and then go through and just touch some of the edges with the white paint just so that it looks snow tipped. Now it's up to you. You can do a lot, you can do a little, you can skip this step, whatever your choice is. I just felt like the tree needed something else, and those little pine cones just aren't going to do it. That looks just like that. So I have about 8 pine cones here that I'm going to go ahead and do that to, and then I'm going to attach those to my wreath. Okay, I am all done. I'm really happy with how it came out. I did end up using 2 stems of the flocked fern, 1 package of the small red balls, and 16 come in a package. And then I used 10 of the larger pine cones that I tipped in white. I'm very happy with how it came out.
To get started on today's project, you're going to need a 14-inch working wreath form. Now, if you have not seen me put one of these together, I will link a short video in the description box below that will show you how to make one. And if you don't have access to the description box, you can find it in my playlist under Tips and Tricks for Beginners, how to make a working wreath form. You're also going to need 1 roll of 10-inch by 10-yard deco mesh. This one is silver, and there are no metallic strips in this one, and I picked this up at papermart.com and I got it for $1.65. Now, I did have this in my stash for about a year or 2, so they may be more expensive, but I thought that was a really great price for a 10-inch by 10-yard deco mesh roll, $1.65. I have my mesh unrolled and my wreath form is ready to go. We're going to be doing 2 different methods on the base today. The first one is going to be the poof method, and then we're going to fill in with the curl method, and you're only going to need 1 roll of 10-inch by 10-yard deco mesh to finish your base. So this is a nice budget-friendly base if you're using a 10-inch deco mesh. To start, you want to take your ends and scrunch them all together. I'm going to start here in the center. I'm going to place your ends into your first pipe cleaner on the center ring. Pull nice and tight and give a good twist or 2. Okay. Then we're going to be measuring our poofs at 8 inches. And you want to start to measure your poofs right where you tied it down. So lay that down, measure out to 8 inches, pinch, and then where you pinched, go into your next pipe cleaner in the center, place it, and give a good twist. Now you want to continue to do that all the way around the center until you get back to the pipe cleaner where you started. For your convenience, in the description box below is a detailed list of all the tools and materials I used to complete this Christmas gnome wreath. Now I'm back where I started. Now I'm going to move down to the lower or outer ring, and that's really easy. You just grab it and drop down to the pipe cleaner that's directly below. Give a good twist, and then you continue around the outer ring doing the same thing, measuring at 8 inches. Pinching and then placing into the next pipe cleaner. Now this should use up half your roll, and then the second half of the roll we'll be doing in the curl method to fill in. I have completed the poof method on the base. And I went through and opened up all my poofs, and that just means to go in to separate and open it up. Okay, so that's ready to go. You also want to pull your pipe cleaners up straight. We're going to be adding more to them. Now with the rest of your roll, you want to clean up your end. You want to cut the rest of the roll into strips at 8 inches. I have all of my mesh cut, and now I'm going to cut my ribbon, and I found this absolutely adorable gnome ribbon at Walmart. This is 2.5 inches at 40 feet, and it was $7.98. I really do love it. It has that gray and white background with the really pretty dark gray and red gnomes. Very cute. Then I'm also going to be using this ribbon, which I picked up at Costco. This is another roll of their wonderful $6.99 ribbon. And this is, I believe, 2.5 inches at 50 yards. And I like this one a lot. It's sheer, but has a good enough amount of color that it doesn't just fade away, but not too much. So I really like this one. I want to add some red, but I don't want like a solid red. You will want to cut your ribbon into strips at 12 inches, and you will need 12 pieces of each. Once you have your ribbon cut, you'll want to dovetail your ends. Now I like to stack mine. I just put the two together. And I don't like a real strong dovetail, so I only come down maybe about 1/2 inch and cut from the center to the point. And then that gives me just a really pretty nice little dovetail. You'll want to do this to all of your ribbon. Now to fill in our base, we'll be doing 2 different bundles. The bundle that has the ribbon, you'll only be adding 1 curl. You don't want to curl it too tight. It should roll up nicely for you. And add 1 piece of each ribbon. Now at every pipe cleaner around the center, you will be adding a curl and ribbon. Place it in between the pipe cleaners, pull nice and tight. Give a couple good twists. Then you want to trim your pipe cleaners, leave about 1/2 inch. And then push your pipe cleaners down. Grab your curl and your ribbon and kind of just pull everything up. And you want your bundle to run crossways, not this way. Running it crossways is going to give you a much fuller and thicker base, and it will leave the center open. If you run them this way, you'll not have a very thick base, and you'll have a lot of mesh crammed in the center. So make sure that when you place in your bundles that you're placing them sideways. Now across from the center, on the ones on the outside, these are the ones that you're only going to put a curl. Now depending on how many cuts you were able to get, if you have enough, put 2 curls where you don't have a ribbon. If not, just put 1. Sometimes I get extra pieces where I can do 2 curls. Sometimes I don't. It all depends on how I measured and how the roll was. I'll put your 2 curls together, and again you want to place them in sideways, not vertical. Okay, so then on the next one on the outside, I will put a curl and ribbon because there isn't going to be one on the inside. This way it kind of mixes it up as you move around. So you have one on the inside, one on the outside, one on the inside, one on the outside. It makes it nice and evenly distributed all the way around your wreath. I'm going to continue to get my ribbon and my curls in my base. When I'm complete, I'll come back and we'll move forward and decorate. I have my base completed. I have all my curls and my ribbon in, and look at how beautiful that looks. Nice and full off of one roll of 10-inch by 10-yard deco mesh. And if you can pick it up for $1.65, that makes it very affordable, even more affordable than using Dollar Tree mesh. Go ahead and set this aside.
You're also going to need a laser cut word, believe. You can pick this up in the Crafter Square section. They come in a package of 2. You want to get one good coat of a red paint. I used Folk Art Lipstick Red. When I went into my Dollar Tree, I was very excited to see that they got in new garden stake gnomes. I really fell in love with this one, dressed as Santa. This is the one I'm going to be using on our wreath today. Now sometimes I have a hard time getting the stake off. If it doesn't want to pry off easily, you can always break it off. Looks like this one's going to come off pretty easily. To get the sign ready to be attached to the wreath, I'm going to glue on 3 pipe cleaners onto the back. Lay in a nice daub of glue, put down your pipe cleaner, top it off with a little bit more glue. And then recently I like to put a little bit of ribbon over the top. This just gives it a little bit of extra security to make sure that my hot glue does not fail. You want to make sure your glue fully sets up before you attach it to your wreath. I'm going to place my sign here on top of my mesh, slightly off center. And then I'm going to place my believe here on the side. Just play with the placement until you find where you like it. To attach the believe, you're going to need some floral wire. I just took a piece of floral wire, wrapped it around the top of the L, twisted it in the back so I can attach it to my wreath. If a little bit of wire bothers you, you can always touch it up after you get it on your wreath with your red paint. To attach your sign and believe, simply take your pipe cleaners and your floral wire, separate the mesh until you get to the back where the wired wreath form is, and attach it to the wired wreath form. You can attach it anywhere on that wreath form that you need to get your gnome and your believe to sit where you want them to. I have my gnome and believe attached. Once you get them attached, you want to go in and arrange your ribbon. Pull it out from behind the sign so that you can see it. You also want to make sure some of the ribbon goes down underneath the word believe. Now that your believe is wired on, just use a couple drops of hot glue to get it in the correct position and to hold it there. Now we're going to add the final element, these beautiful red and silver Christmas balls. They come in a package of 15 at Dollar Tree. Simply add some hot glue to the top and then nestle them into your wreath. I usually like to put some in the center of my ribbon bundles. It helps to open up the ribbon bundle and makes the ornaments stand out. And here you go, we are all done. I have all of my Christmas ornaments glued in. I think they were the perfect final touch for this wreath. To get started, you're going to need one of these tinsel Santa hats that you can currently pick up at Dollar Tree. You want to go ahead and remove all of the tinsel and everything off of your frame. Okay, I've removed all of the tinsel. You also want to move your hanger from the point here over to this bar right here so it doesn't slide. It hangs better once you get everything on it if you have it over on this side. Before I tried here and it didn't hang straight, so you need to move it over to the side. And then go all the way around the edge here, and you want to trim off these little nubs. They easily trim off with a pair of wire cutters. This just makes it easy when you do the hat and the beard that you don't have to deal with these little pokey things. Go ahead and finish preparing your frame. Next, you're going to need some white fabric. I'm using one of the super soft microfiber cloths that you can get in the automotive section. These are 16 inches by 24. I like these because they're soft, they're nice and thick, and what I have planned to do, you need a kind of heavy fabric. You can also use just regular white fabric. Sometimes in the Crafter Square section, they have their fat quarters that are white. You can use that too. I would not suggest using the white felt that you get from Dollar Tree because it's really thin. If you have nice thick white felt, you can use that. But I'm going to be using one of these. And I will be attaching this. This is the rim of the hat. I'm going to come up just past the rim of the hat by about a ½ inch. We're going to wrap that around to the back. Okay, we're going to glue that down eventually. But right now you want to decide how long you want the beard. So, I'm going to go about there. Take your scissors and go ahead and trim off the excess on the bottom. I'm cutting off probably about 6 or 7 inches. Fold it in half. That's going to be your center. Now the end that you cut, this is going to be the point of your beard. So you want to come up about another 6 inches. And then just kind of do a slight round down. You don't need to come to a real strong point. Just like that. And you want to save these pieces because you're going to put them inside the hat. So when you open it up, you have that shape around the bottom. Now you can start to shape the bottom of your beard. If you need to, you can trim off some extra. I'm just going to fold in a little bit here on the bottom. Till I get down to a point. And just use the hot glue. I have my material attached, and all I did was fold over here in the back, and if I had too much fabric, I just trimmed it and hot glued it down until I got the shape that I liked. I'm really happy with that. I like how it kind of curves just slightly to one side. Go ahead and set this aside. You're going to need several stems of this really pretty white poinsettia. You can use any of the white blooms. If you do not have any white poinsettias in your stores, you can also go over into the wedding section and see if they have bags of white rose petals. You can use those as well. I really liked these when I saw them. They're pure white and they have just a little bit of glitter, and I thought that would make a beautiful beard. So all you need to do is take your wire cutters and go in and trim the little petals off. You want to make sure to trim it close to the leaf and not leave a little stem. I have all my petals cut. Go ahead and save these. You can use these in another arrangement or maybe another project. Then you're going to want to start here at the point on your beard. And we are going to glue the petals on. Now the petals are shaped in a specific way. They're slightly wide at one end, get a little wider, and then taper down to the point. You want the point to be facing down. And these do have glitter, so for me, I want to make sure that the glitter side is facing up. And then I'm just going to layer my petals. Just put a little dab of glue, start at the very base. Glue one down. Go up a little bit and then place two. And you don't need a lot, just a little bit of glue. Now this is why you want a thicker fabric, because you're going to be doing a lot of hot gluing. And cover the beard with the petals. I really like the look of these. So just keep adding some hot glue. Come up a little higher, about a ½ inch on each row. And just keep stacking until you get the beard covered. I have my beard all covered in petals. I think it looks really great. And I still have some left, which I'm probably going to be using. You want to go ahead and pull out 10 petals. We're going to be making the mustache. So this is one side. And to do that, you want to take 2 of the leaves. Add a small amount of hot glue. Lay the second one over, but slightly higher. So it looks like that. I'm going to do that again. Add a small amount of hot glue. And then place the other one on top and a little bit forward. And then you glue the two together, and you want it to curve slightly because it is a mustache. So that's 4, and then the 5th one goes right in the middle like that. And again, just a dab of hot glue and glue it into place. Now the mustache will help fill in on either side of the nose once we place the nose. Go ahead and set those aside. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and attach the hat. Dollar Tree has a lot of Santa hats that you can use. I picked up these 2. One is just your regular standard Santa hat. And then this one I thought was really pretty. It has the silver snowflakes. This is the one I'm going to be using. Dollar Tree, if you can find them, also has these hats. And this one was my favorite, but I couldn't find them in my store. But any of them will do. They're all about the same size. You need the adult size. You have your hanger here, so you're going to need to trim a little hole once you get it on and placed on the back to pull the hanger through. But first you just want to slide it on and get your placement. Now you need it to come down just to cover the ridge there. And then the tip's going to come over the front like that. Okay. So find your spot in the back. Just feel to where the bar is. And then cut a small hole to pull your hanger through. Okay, I have my hat pulled down. Now if you need to take your petals and kind of fold them around to get the hat to come down far enough, go ahead and do that. And I have my hanger out. Now that I have my hanger out, I'm going to put some hot glue here to keep this closed. Okay, and then I'm also going to start to tack down the hat. Just run a little bit of hot glue there in the back and get it down. Okay, now before you tack anything down in the front, I want to stuff the hat. And this is all the little leftovers that I cut off the hat. So I'm just going to take that and stuff that up to help fill in my hat. I have my hat nice and stuffed. Now I want the tip to come over and I want it to stay that way. So I'm going to add just a little bit of hot glue up here. And then I'm just going to fold it over where I want it. I think that looks really cute with the tip folded over. And now we're going to do the nose. You can get these at Dollar Tree. They are 2.4 inch in diameter. They come 3 in a pack. They also have one that comes 4 in a pack. That size will work as well. It's slightly smaller. But this is the one that I chose. 2.4 inch. And all I do is I take the ball and I wrap it in a knee-high or a piece of nylon, anything like that. Wrap it around and tie it off. Dollar Tree also carries knee-highs, and you can choose however dark of a suntan you want his nose to be. So we're going to go ahead and hot glue his nose right in the center there like that. And you want to make sure that the knot is the end that you hot glue in. And just use a good amount so that it stays put. That looks really cute. Now we have the mustache. We're going to help get that in there. That'll help fill in those sides. Same thing with this one. Just add a little bit of hot glue there. And take that end and kind of tuck it up under the nose there to help fill in. Okay, then you can go ahead and start to glue down your hat. Glue it across the tip of the nose here so it stays in place. Add a little bit of glue in the corners there to hold that down. Adjust your little mustache if you need to. Okay, now the last thing I'm going to do here for blending the hat and the mustache and everything is I'm just going to fill in a little bit more wherever I need to through the beard and around in here with what I have left over of my little petals. Just going to keep adding a little bit of glue and then just tuck them in there until I'm happy. And if there's any place down here in the beard where I'm not happy or it's not full enough, all you need to do is just add a dab of glue and then lift up the area and tuck it in. So if there's anything that doesn't look right, or if you don't like the shape on the outside, even if you have to cut it in half and then glue just half of it there, because you want to make sure you have the correct shape. I'm going to go ahead and fill in my beard with the rest of the petals, fill in a little bit more around his nose, and then we'll be back and move forward. I got everything filled in. I really like the shape. I'm very happy with the beard and the hat. Now for the final touch, I want to add a little bit of something here on the hat. So I went ahead and picked out a few pieces that I have. I have some glittered fern, some holly, some of this other glittered fern stuff that has little red berries, and a couple pine cones. So I'm just going to go ahead and do some decoration right up here on the hat. And there you go. I got all his decorations on his hat. I did go ahead and add a little bit of snow to his pine cone there. I think he came out absolutely adorable. I really love his beard.
For today's project, you're going to need an 18-inch wire work wreath. I did pick this up from Walmart. It is by Floral Craft. This is an elevated wreath form. As you can see, the center here is about 2 inches higher than the outer ring. And when it says working wreath form, that just means that the pipe cleaners are already attached to your wreath form. We're also going to be using 10-inch mesh. I have a white non-metallic stripped 10-inch by 10 yards. I did pick this up from craftoutlet.com. And then this one I thought was absolutely gorgeous. It has all the beautiful Christmas colors, a light green, a dark green, red, and white. And this is Polypro mesh ribbon. This does come from Hobby Lobby, 10 inches at 30 feet. I have my roll of white mesh opened up and my wreath form. We're going to start to attach it. Now because this is an elevated wreath form, I'm going to start to attach on the outside and then I will move to the inside. The inside is lifted, so I want the mesh on the inside to sit up on top of the mesh on the outside. And to get started, I'm just going to take the ends here, I'm going to scrunch them together. Start on one of the pipe cleaners on the outside. Place it in there, get that nice and snug, and give a twist. Now we're going to place the poofs first, and we're going to be measuring those at 10 inches. You want to start right here where you tied it, measure to 10 inches, pinch, go to your next pipe cleaner on the outside. You can find a working wreath form like this at Walmart, Hobby Lobby, and Michael's. Now you only want to do 1 or 2 twists there because we are going to come back and add more. For your convenience, in the description box below is a detailed list of all the tools and materials used in today's project. This list will not only tell you how much you're going to need, it will also let you know where I purchased the materials. I'm right back where I started. I did open up that pipe cleaner and add it in. Now to move to the center, I'm going to go directly to the one above. And now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to measure 10-inch poofs and move my way around the center. Look at that. They cut my roll. Actually, that works out pretty good. If that happens to you, just add in the end. Get as close to the end as you can without it being too close. You need at least 1 inch there so it does not pull back through. Now this is still the same roll, it just for some reason had a cut in it. So pinch and start just like you did in the beginning. And continue. Enjoying today's content, make sure to subscribe, and when the notification bell pops up, if you hit that too, YouTube will let you know every time I upload new content, and I do upload new content to my channel every week. I have all my poofs attached. Now I need to go through and open those guys up. Go in, pull them open. You want to get the biggest bang for your buck. Now, I have the rest of my white roll rolled out, as well as this beautiful mixed color. Now this one is super thin, and it makes for a perfect accent, but this would not make a really good base. You'd have to use a lot of it to cover. So with the second roll and what's left with the white roll, we're going to cut everything into 10-inch pieces. Your goal is to get 18 pieces cut of the white and 36 pieces cut of the multicolored. I do have all my mesh cut. I was able to get the full 36 cuts out of this one. I was a little short with the white, which does happen on occasion. I did have an extra roll that was left over, so I needed 2 cuts off of this roll. Now we're going to make our bundles, and in each bundle we're going to have 2 pieces of the colored mesh and 1 piece of the white. I'm going to be using my bow dabber. This is a bow maker, but I prefer to use this to hold things when I make bundles. I do have arthritis, and this is a saver. So all you want to do is do a nice loose curl. It shouldn't be too tight. You should be able to go around about 2 times, and then wherever your seam is, you want that to go down. Pinch it in the middle and go down. Now if your curl is too tight, you will know because the mesh will try to stick out of the ends. If that's happening, you want to loosen up your rolls. If you leave it that way, you'll end up having problems with fraying. So I'm going to put a color one on the bottom, white one in the middle, and then another colored one on top. Okay, so that's a fat cigar or a silver dollar size. Now if you don't have a bow maker, you can always hold this in your hand. You can also put it directly into the wreath. You're just going to have to open and close it 3 times. And I don't like to do that because then it tends to get a little too loose. Okay, so once you have all 3 of your curls, grab that. And again, we're going to start on the outside. And you want to place your bundles so that they are wide. Pull nice and snug and give a couple twists. Okay, so you're going to do that to every pipe cleaner around the outside, and then you move to the inside. And the reasoning is you want the ones on the inside to kind of sit up on top of the ones on the outside. I have all of my bundles in, and I love that color combination, that little bit of beautiful Christmas color with that white background. Very, very pretty, nice, thick, and full. This is the sign that I've chosen for our wreath today. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. Now this is rather large. It is 13 inches in diameter, and here where the top of the ornament is an additional 1.5 inches. But I thought that was super pretty. I'm really into the cardinals this year. And this sign is relatively thick. I did pick it up at Dollar Tree, and believe it or not, it was just $1.25. They have 2 absolutely gorgeous large signs like this with cardinals on it. This one with a white background. They also have another one that's absolutely gorgeous that has a dark royal blue background. But this is the one we're going to use today. To get this ready to go onto our wreath, I want to add a couple full-length pipe cleaners. I like to lay down an initial dollop of hot glue, place my pipe cleaner, put a little bit more on top, and then I use just a little bit of ribbon to go over that. I want to make sure that these pipe cleaners are nice and secure and that they do not come off. Now here at the top, where the opening is, I'm going to use some floral wire. I like to use silver because this tends to disappear on pretty much any light colored wreath. Okay, cut a piece 10 to 12 inches. I'm going to wrap it right around the top of the ornament here. 1 through the hole, 1 over the top, pull it nice and snug and give it a couple twists. So I have plenty of floral wire there to attach it at the top, and then my pipe cleaners down here will keep it stable by attaching it on either side. I'm going to place my sign right up on top of my mesh. I like it in the center, But look at how beautiful that is. It goes so well with the mesh. And I have plenty of space all the way around my sign to add any other embellishments. Now to get this on, you just take your pipe cleaners and your floral wire, move the mesh aside until you can get down to that wire wreath form, feed it through and attach it. When you're done, you want to make sure that you trim and tuck those ends. You don't want anything sharp on the back of your wreath. I have my sign on and it's nice and sturdy. Once you get it on, you want to go through and pull your curls out because you'll find a lot are stuck behind. Now we're going to work on getting our embellishments on. So I have these two really pretty ribbon. This one I actually picked up at Lowe's. I thought it was so pretty. It has the cardinal. It also has some pine cones, a little bit of greenery, and some berries. So I think this is going to go really well with the sign. And then I wanted to add some green to it, but I didn't want anything shiny. I did pick this one up from Costco, 1.5 inches at 50 yards. I think that's really pretty with that dark green and black check. You want to cut 9 pieces of each ribbon at 10 inches. Now a quick way to cut several pieces of ribbon at one time is to do this. You want to measure out your first piece of ribbon and fold it over. Okay, so that's 10 inches. And then you just keep folding the ribbon over itself. So that gives me 3. Okay, then find the center where you started. Now these scissors are super sharp, so I'm able to do this. If you don't have really sharp scissors, this is not going to work for you. You can find my tailor scissors in my Amazon associate shop under Tools. Okay, so I have 9 pieces cut, and now I'm going to do my dovetailing. On this ribbon, you want to check your ribbon. Grab the ends and pull it a little bit. If it starts unraveling, you're going to have trouble with it, so you want to seal that, and that happened with this ribbon. I don't know why, but it always seems like the check ribbon I always have issues with. So first I'm going to dovetail, and then I'm going to take a lighter and just lightly go over those ends. That will singe it just a little bit so that you don't have problem of it fraying on you. The worst thing is to go through and do a lot of work on a project only to come back a couple days later and to see that all your ribbon has frayed. I have my ribbon cut. I have 9 pieces of each ribbon cut at 10 inches and I've dovetailed both ends. Now around the outer ring and the inner ring, I'm going to be adding some ribbon every other pipe cleaner. And I'm going to stack them. So I have my largest ribbon on the bottom and then my 1.5 inch on top. And then I'm just going to scrunch right down the center and pinch. Go directly into your pipe cleaner and give a twist or two. Now you can either trim these or you can push them down, which is what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to lift up and pull to the outside my ribbon. And I'm going to do that to every other pipe cleaner on the outside and on the inside of my wreath. I have all of my ribbon bundles in and I'm happy with that. Now I'm putting together a little floral bundle and I'm adding those where I did not add my ribbon. And to make those, I have some florals that I picked up from Dollar Tree. I have 2 stems of their velvet poinsettia. And then I have 2 stems of their regular holly berries. I have 2 stems of this snowy greenery. This one has the light ends and dark. And then I also have 2 stems of the snowy greenery that's just in the dark. And to get these ready, I'm just separating into individual pieces. And I'm leaving a rather long stem. I can always cut the stems shorter once I get my bundles put together. Okay, so I'm going to prep all of my greenery. My florals are cut into individual stems. You're also going to need some floral tape. You can also get this at Dollar Tree. Pull off a piece about 12 inches. Then you're going to want 1 stem from each pile. Here on my poinsettia, I'm going to bend that so that it's facing up. And I want 1 piece of each of the greenery in each bundle. So some of these have 2, some of them have single. And a piece of holly. Again, with the holly, I'm going to bend that so that it's facing up. Okay, and then you could mix those together however you want, just until that bundle looks right to you. Then take your floral tape. And the floral tape is usually pretty good about sticking to itself, so you just have to kind of get it started to where it's overlapped. And then just wrap your bundle. Just slowly, after you've gone over it a couple times, slowly work your way down. And then when I get to the end of the tape, just going to use a little bit of hot glue to make sure that doesn't come undone. Okay, so that's 1 bundle. You need to make 9 bundles. And this is going to be too long. That's okay. I can cut that with my wire cutters. I just like to leave them long. That way it gives you more options as you're putting your little bundles together. I have all my little picks put together and I'm really happy with that. You're also going to need a couple packages of the pine cone ornaments. Now they come in 3 different colors. This is the darkest one. And you get 2 pieces per package, so you'll need a total of 6 pine cones. I'm putting 3 around the outside and 3 around the inside, and I'm connecting them when I connect my picks. Just remove the little string to hang it. You have a nice little hole here. That's how we're going to attach it. So I'm going to take my pick and I'm going to attach this first. I'm going to lay it right on into where my pipe cleaner is, and I'm going to give a good twist. Okay, hide those ends underneath the mesh. And then I'm going to take and feed one of the pipe cleaners through the hole on the pine cone. Pull that down and give another twist or 2. Then I'm going to take those pipe cleaners, pull them together, and push them down towards the back. Then I can adjust my bundle, make sure my flower, my holly, my leaves and greenery you can see. Okay. So then the next pipe cleaner has the ribbon. And I go to the next open pipe cleaner, and this time I'm going to attach just the floral stem. I only have enough pine cones to put 3 on the inside and 3 on the outside. So just twist that down, make sure it's nice and secure. hide those ends so you don't see them, and adjust your bundle. I have all of my florals and the pine cones in, along with all of my ribbon, and I'm so pleased. Look at how beautiful that is. Everything that I added comes directly from the signs, the colors I chose, and the greenery and florals. Now the last thing that I want to add are these two cardinals. Now they come in a pack from Dollar Tree, so you get both of them for $1.25. They do come with wire here on their feet, which makes it easier for you to attach them. So go ahead and use those wires and feed it in. You'll probably want to either wire it directly to the mesh or to some of the greenery, depending on where you choose to place your cardinals. Our wreath is complete. I did get both of the cardinals on, and I think they were the perfect final addition for this big, beautiful Happy Holidays wreath. For our Christmas wreath, you're going to need a 14-inch wire wreath form that you can pick up at Dollar Tree. This happens to be silver, but you can use whatever color you can find. I'm also going to be using some pipe cleaners cut in half. All I have today are black, so that's what I'm using. And then you're also going to need some mesh from Dollar Tree. You're going to need several rolls of red and several rolls of white mesh. And then I'm also going to include some of this really beautiful glitter mesh that I found. It is like red and white striped. So we're going to be incorporating some of this. To get started, I'm prepping my glitter mesh. I have 2 rolls laid out here, and I'm cutting them into strips at 12 inches. I have 2 rolls of glitter mesh cut into strips at 12 inches, and now I have laid out 2 rolls of white and 1 roll of red of the deco mesh. I like to layer it. It just makes it easier to cut multiple pieces. And you want to cut your deco mesh into strips at 8 inches. And we will be putting 3, 2 white and 1 red in a bundle. That's why I'm cutting it. So each cut will give me a bundle. For your convenience, in the description box below is a detailed list of all the tools and materials used in today's project. I have some mesh cut, so I've started to make my bundles. And I use my bow dabber here. This is a bow maker. You can find this in my Amazon associate shop. The link is in the description box below. I like to use this machine because I do have arthritis and it helps to hold everything. Now we're going to be placing 3 to 4 pieces in each bundle. We'll be making 2 different bundles. So our first bundle here is going to be white, red, and white. And you just want to do a nice loose curl. Just roll it right up. If your ends are sticking out, your curl is too tight, you want to take that seam part and put it to the bottom. So 1 white, 1 red, and then another white. And the reason why I decided to go with 8 inches is because Dollar Tree mesh tends to fray if you've never worked with it before. And by cutting it 8 inches, I can get that curl rolled several times, and it helps hide those ends. And take half a pipe cleaner, wrap that around the center, pull it to the back. I like to pull everything down. It allows me to get a nice tight grip, pinch and twist. Okay, so that's going to be 1 bundle. You're going to be making 2 of these to every one of the other. And the other, we're going to do the same thing, white, red, and white, and then we're going to top it off with a piece of the sparkly tulle. Okay, I have my 3 curls. And here with my glitter ribbon, I'm going to be doing the standard ruffle. Just start down at one end, scrunch, and go right up the center. I'm going to place that guy on top. Now if you don't have a bow maker, you can always use a clip or hold it in your hand if you have good hands. And that is your second bundle. I have some bundles made. I've started to attach it here to my wreath form. Now we're going to be attaching all the bundles to the 2 bars here in the center. And my pattern is 2 bundles without the glitter mesh and then 1 bundle with the glitter mesh. I don't want a whole lot of that. I just want a little bit here and there. So you take your pipe cleaners, you wrap it around either side of those 2 bars in the center, pull nice and snug and give a couple twists. Then I like to pull my pipe cleaners together and then I push them back forward as I push over my bundle. This will help keep the back of your wreath looking nice, clean, and professional. And in the front, once you get it full, you're not going to see those pipe cleaners at all. If you're enjoying today's content, make sure to subscribe. And when the notification bell pops up, if you hit that too, YouTube will let you know every time I upload new content. And I do upload new content to my channel every week. Okay, it looks like it's going to take about 8 bundles per section, and there are 6 sections on this wreath. I have my wreath base complete. I'm very happy with the end result. I love the mixture of the 2 colors of the deco mesh with the striped tulle. It gives a very textured and unique looking base, which is exactly what I was going for. Now whenever you do the curl method, you're going to end up with a little bit of fraying. You want to go through and trim that up. Anything that's sticking out that looks a little weird, just go in and clean it up. And here on the back you can see I attached all of my bundles to the 2 bars in the center. I did put 8 bundles in each section except for the last one. I only put 7 because that's how it worked out with the pattern that I used. But as you can see, by tucking those pipe cleaners, the back of your wreath looks very clean and professional. This adorable ornament sign is what I've chosen for our wreath today. This did come from Dollar Tree. It is Christmas House. Now they have 2 different ones of these to choose from. This one that has the snowman. They also have one that has a green background and has Santa on it. You would just change the base colors to go with whatever sign you choose. Now to get this onto our wreath, I have added 3 pipe cleaners here on the back and some floral wire. Here at the ornaments hook, I added the floral wire just off to one side, and I left some nice long tails to make it easy to attach. And then I've attached here 3 full-length pipe cleaners, a little dab of glue, the pipe cleaner, another dab of glue, and then cover it with some ribbon. That will make that very secure. So this guy is now ready to go on our wreath. The floral wire that I added is a little bit off to the side, which is what I want because I don't want this to sit straight up and down. I want that to angle a little bit. The snowman actually looks better if it's angled just a little bit. Now this top floral wire and the pipe cleaner in the center across from it, I want to attach to 2 crossbars, one at the top and the bottom. That way I know my sign isn't going to shift. Once I get those 2 attached, then I'll attach the 2 on the sides. You just take your floral wire or your pipe cleaner, you separate your mesh till you can get down to that wire frame in the back, and then attach it to the wire frame. Trying to find the crossbar. See, so you just move that around till you get to your crossbar. And I'm going to attach it to the 2 bars in the center just like I've done everything else. Get it positioned and then tie it down. You want to make sure to trim and tuck your pipe cleaners and your floral wire once you have your sign attached. My sign is fully attached and it's not going to go anywhere. It's nice and secure. Now I do want to add some ribbon. I wasn't sure how much, if I just wanted to do a bow or if I wanted to actually add ribbon to the wreath, and I do. I have 1.5 rolls of this ribbon. I did pick this ribbon up from Dollar General. It was $2. It's 2.5 inches at 9 feet. The first thing I want to do is cut 5 strips at 10 inches and dovetail both ends. And then we're also going to do a bow using this ribbon. So this is what we're going to do. Just make a single ribbon bundle. I have my 5 pieces of ribbon cut at 10 inches and dovetailed at both ends. Just going to find the center and do a single pinch. Take half a pipe cleaner and wrap that around. And get that nice and secure. Then I like to style my ribbon a little bit, make sure that it's going to lay the way that I want. And just kind of lift it up and curl the ends out. I'm going to do that to 5 pieces of ribbon. I'm adding my ribbon bundles, and I'm planning on only adding 1 ribbon bundle per section. And then this section up here I'm going to leave vacant because this is where I'm going to put my bow. Now you attach these just like you've attached all your other bundles. Once you find your position, you just separate the mesh till you get down to the wire frame and you attach it to that wire frame. Make sure to tuck your pipe cleaners and then adjust your ribbon. I have my ribbon in and I left my spot for my bow, so we're going to do that next. We're going to make the bow now, and I'm going to be using my Deluxe Easy Bow Maker. You're also going to need 2 full-length pipe cleaners and your ribbon. Now this ribbon only has, one side that looks nice and this angle. So we're going to do this bow a little bit different. First, I'm going to cut a set of tails, and I don't want my tails to be too terribly long. So for the total set, I'm going to cut it at 10 inches. That'll give me about 5 inches of tail on either side. And I'm going to take that piece and dovetail both ends. Pinch that and add that first. So the next piece I want to measure at, let's see, about 17 inches. We'll do 17 inches. Okay. Take the ends, fold them over themselves by about 1 inch. Press down so that you can find the center. Pinch. And add. So this way my pattern is going to stay the same. Okay, I'm going to do that again. Cut the same length. Then I'm going cut one more piece, about 3 to 4 inches. This is what I'm going to use to wrap the center. Take your full-length pipe cleaner, slide that down underneath, pull up. I always like to push all my ribbon down so it's nice and snug, and then lift out. That helps keep your bow stacked. Take your pipe cleaner, wrap it around the front, pull it to the back, give a couple good twists. Make sure that is nice and snug. Okay, so you want to pull down your tails and open up your loops. Whatever adjusting that you want to do to your loops, you should do it now before we wrap the center. Okay, so that's approximately what your bow should look like. Now we're going to wrap the center to cover up the pipe cleaner. On the back, just open up your pipe cleaner. And then I'm going to take my ribbon and I'm going to tri-fold it, fold each side in and cover. Add a little bit of glue on one end just to help keep it together. Start to attach it here on the back and wrap it around. Now it's up to you how tight you want to get that. If you want to leave it a little loose or you want it super tight, whatever looks right to you, and then glue it off in the back. Isn't that adorable? Now these pipe cleaners aren't long enough for me to get it onto my wreath, so I'm going to add another one. Just put it in between, give a good twist to those short pipe cleaners. And then I like to take one short arm and wrap it around one of the longer arms. This makes it very secure and gives you plenty of pipe cleaner to be able to get your bow onto your wreath. I have my bow on. I'm really happy with that. I love it. It's not too big. It's not too small. And I did attach it the same way I've attached everything else. You feed the pipe cleaners through the mesh and attach it to the wire frame. Now we're going to add some embellishments. And the first one I want to add are some of these large red globe ornaments. They come in a package of 7 for $1.25. This one has a mixture of the glitter and the shiny. Now you do get 3 of each, and I think I'm probably going to be using maybe 4 or 5, so I will be using both. Now there are 2 different ways you can attach this. One, you can attach it with Aleene's Original Tacky Glue and hot glue, or you can feed a pipe cleaner through and wire these on. Now to get these attached, I'm going to be using a combination of Aleene's Original Tacky Glue and some hot glue. Now Aleene's is really good. It takes 24 hours to fully set up, but once it does, it's weather resistant. So if this goes outside, it gets hot, it gets cold, it's not going to fall off. Now the hot glue is what holds it first until the Aleene's Original Glue is able to set. So add both, find your spot, and then you want to nestle that end into your deco mesh so it gets good contact. Okay, I'm going to add the rest of my ornaments. I have all of my red globe ornaments in. I did end up using 6, so I have 1 left over. Now there's 2 more elements I want to add. I'm going to add some of these large glitter berries in white. And then I'm also going to add a few snowflakes. You get 10 in a package for $1.25. Now I'm only going to add a few of the snowflakes, and I want to make sure that I get some of them here on the side where I've actually glued it into part of the wreath. I like this sticking out from the sides. It's so much prettier than just laying it up on top. And again, I'm going to glue these in. I'm just going to use hot glue on these. So I'll add a few like that. And then the berries come two wired together. If you find the smaller package, there'll be 3 smaller berries to come together. Now the wire is too short to wire it in, so I'm going to hot glue these in as well. You just need to add a good amount of hot glue to the stem there. And when you feed it in, you need to make sure you're getting really good contact with the mesh. I like that. It adds that little bit of extra sparkle. Okay, I'm going to add in my final embellishments of my white glitter berries and my snowflakes, and then I'll be back and I'll show you the finished product. I have all of my embellishments on, and I'm really happy with the end result. I snuck in my glitter berries and those snowflakes. They added that perfect final touch to this beautiful Let It Snow Christmas wreath.